Party people in the place to be. Live from 58 Dream Street, we're Jameson with Games. Having trouble squeezing my glasses in here. Oh, hello! Bedev, Cedric, British, the gang's all here. Well, I mean, many components of the gang are here. Welcome all. Happy Sunday. Sunday is the day that it is. Just straightening things out in my mind. Did have that Greek wedding last night. It was a more staid affair than I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more raucousness. It was a fun party. I guess it has to do with, we're all in our late 30s. All right, good. Thank you, British. Confirming it is not only Sunday where I am, but Sunday even all the way across the pond. Oh my goodness, my glasses. Cleaning my glasses is really the kind of task I could easily get done. Well, in some ways it was like in the movies, our friends Jen and Andrew, or Andreas Christofi, so you know which one is the Greek side causing the wedding to be a Greek wedding. In the church, his side was backed from front to back, and all of us, the mutual friends, were like, we'll sit on Jen's side. So it wasn't even like his mutual friends, like their large friend group was not taking up space in the Andrew side. So that part was very officially Greek wedding-esque. But then, beyond that, it was just lots of people having fun. But we were winding down around 11, which is fine by me. Just not what I was expecting. Good time on the whole. And here I am in fighting form, ready for some more Quest for Glory 4. Quest for Glory Unnumbered, Shadows of Darkness. The fourth game in the series. So, obviously, levels are a little more important. I'm getting messages here. Probably not important messages, but I should see if they're from Danielle. They're not. Excellent. I can ignore them. Not because the other people in my life aren't important, but because if they have something really important, they'll call. Okay. So yeah, let me know how all the sound is, if I need to put anything up, put it down, leave it. I guess you don't need to let me know if I need to leave it as it is, but I'll leave it as it is if I'm not told otherwise. I might turn it down a little bit in my own ears, although that might just be the kind of oddly dissonant, not dissonant like it's a dissonant song itself, but it's tonally dissonant from what we're doing. To have this power rock power ballad going. Okay, here we are. We are in a cool, weird garden. This is where I wound up last time. What I was up to last time, well, what did we do last time? I started the game in Castle Borgov, the castle of the former boyars of Mordavia, which I had found my way into, not because the plot directed me, but because I am the hero. And so, when the plot isn't directing me to do something, it behooves me to just screw around and see if I can find anything that needs heroing. So I was in that castle, we explored that castle a lot, and the main discovery we made was that the daughter of the innkeepers in Mordavia is a vampire. She's been vampirized. So that's bleak. She doesn't seem like an evil child vampire, but she has been turned into a vampire. So that's cause for concern. We know that there's a mad monk and that he has a scheme. We have a pretty clear sense that Ad Avis has returned from the grave, or didn't quite die. Probably given the themes of this story, I'd put my money on returned from the grave, or at least returned from the dead. He may never have been properly buried or received his funeral rites. Then eventually I made my way out and I went back to town. I figured out one more thing in Dr. Cranium's castle, or laboratory, or workshop, or whatever it is, which was that I needed to use one of the ration sandwiches to get avocado. Avocado is an ingredient in it. And apparently Antwerps love avocado so much that it's okay to them if it's been mashed together with garlic and other ingredients. And so I was able to catch an antverp. Now I can do this maze puzzle in Dr. Cranium's lab, except that it's a tilt the board, maneuver a ball through a maze with holes in it. And it kind of seems like the gimmick is that there are too many holes and you need to like find some ticky-tacky or some kind of something I can use to plug a hole. And then I went out to search the woods and I happened to find this cool garden. And I did one thing here, which is there was a hole in the ground. I had a bonsai tree that I had found in a weird spot. Put the bonsai tree in there, it's doing great. I haven't even crossed this little bridge.
The fruit tree is laden with luscious-looking fruits of many kinds. It must be one of the rare mixed fruit trees.
Oh, I'm reasonably glorious. There's no specific glory stat, of course, but I am 200 points of honor, which is actually the honor level that I started at, but I did something dishonorable at some point. And then I've also done honorable things, so I'm breaking even there. And then here's my general levels of glory. A fairly glorious hero, on the whole. Okay. Let's explore this garden, and then let's finish. Other things on the agenda today for sure are keep exploring the woods and try to map the whole thing. And finally, the other thing that occurred to me is that there's a whole screen in a... Well, there's still a... score. So we do have those glory points, puzzle points, 114 of them. Presumably there are 500 in the entire game. Yeah, and then, the one other thing that occurred to me is that back in old Mordavia town, there's a big monument of Erana, which on the one hand is just saying, hey, remember Erana, a recurring figure in the lore of this series? But Erana's areas in, for example, Quest for Glory 1 and 3 both serve a functional purpose in the game, which is they give you a safe spot to rest outside of town. But this one's inside town, you can't rest there. And it's an entire screen in the town. Like, it's not like the monument is there and then there's the shops. There's a whole screen in the game. So there's got to be something to do with Erana's monument. And we've also heard some backstory about Erana that was specific to this region. So I'm thinking maybe we can talk to Erana by talking to the monument or touching the monument, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Alright, let's start moving. Here we go. Hero stretching his legs out. Alright, if this was a... Oh yeah! That's a good point there. So, I guess we'd have to think. I guess a lot depends on whether is a Lich merely an undead wizard, or is there some specificity to like the rituals that went into the resurrection and stuff like that. Alright, will I be punished for trying to take some mixed fruit?
As you approach the tree, the fruit vanishes. Must be that low-calorie kind.
Okay. Interesting. Does it come back? No. So now if I look at the tree, what will it say?
It seems to be an out-of-season or perhaps just out-of-sorts fruit tree. No munchables adorn its branches.
Okay.
Lovely flowers bloom throughout the garden.
Can I pick one, or will they disappear when I try to touch them?
You pick a few of the beautiful flowers.
Alright, we've got beautiful flowers. Did that reduce my honor score? I'm paranoid over my honor score now. It did not. Okay. Oh, wait, what is this thing?
It's an ornate oriental lent.
Although, I guess the Ultima Liches are kind of a whole different weird... They're almost I mean, the one that we've encountered, really. No, there was more than one Lich but you know, the big storyline Lich in Ultima 7, the Black Gate, was almost akin, like it was possessing the guy whose body it was in. It was not like Harold specifically had found a way to live on. Alright, so I have no idea what planting my bonsai tree has done besides earn me points. Can I decorate it so that it's prettier?
That didn't do anything useful.
Well, no, Mr. Reese Davies, but I was wondering if I could do something decorative. Not necessarily functional, but okay. Now, stepping down here, and I'm going back in to see if that fruit comes back. It does. And then what I wonder is, can I fetch the fruit?
You didn't manage to fetch anything.
No. It's illusory fruit, I guess. It's not there. Okay. Alright, so we've taken a look around. That was all very fun. And now, I gotta adjust my window so I can see the map I've been working on. Alright. So, looks like there's still area to the east to be explored, including, presumably, from this screen. Oh, at a certain point, your fetch score is so high, there has to be a flourish to it. Okay, no going south from here. That. East, west, and north in this particular forest. Very good. Probably nothing really going on here, but let's
Grey
check.
rocks litter the ground everywhere, reminders of glaciers long since past. The ground bears a rich carpet of fallen leaves as the trees prepare for winter's annual assault. You are near the southeastern corner of the forest. You can just make out a strange-looking wooden house on a tall cliff to the south. You can also see some unusual plants in a clearing to the northwest.
Okay. Well, the unusual plants are obviously the beautiful garden I was just in, which is directly 1 square west and 1 square north of here, or one screen. I have noted another spot where from a dead end I could see this house to the south. Doesn't look like I can reach it from here, though. Perhaps, for now, I'll continue east and see if a southern path reveals itself. Looks promising.
You are near the southeastern corner of the forest. You can just make out a strange-looking wooden house on a tall cliff to the southwest.
Very good. Okay, can I go north from here? I think I can. Just want to verify that. No. Tree cover too thick. So, then probably I can only go south. Okay. And so, seems like a pretty good chance that I found the eastern bound of the game of I shouldn't say the game world. Gloriana is a big place, obviously. Because we go all over in this series, but specifically the. Oh, great question, Tedev. Might as well, if I were a betting man, I would say it's probably going to tell me, the pines are too thick to pass, but we shouldn't turn down a single John Rhys Davies line reading at the very least.
Pine trees grow in profusion in this cool climate.
Huh.
In winter, they needle the deciduous trees mercilessly.
We've heard that one before, but heh. Okay, to the south. This one looks like a north-south.
You are in the southeastern corner of the forest. You can just make out a strange-looking wooden house on a tall cliff to the southwest.
So this oh man, there's a Lovecraft story where there's a weird house on a cliff. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Dreams in the witch house. I could be wrong though. But there's like the house is right up on a cliff, and it doesn't have a door facing like the safe side. That's all I remember. Someone who wants to go in has to like sidle out onto the cliff and come in through a window or something like that. Okay, north-south forest here. So if I go south from here, great question.
The hungry hunting hawk alertly
Falcon.
searches for signs of game not already claimed by the forest monsters.
We've confirmed it's a falcon. So if I go south from here, what I'm going to wager is that it's like an elbow piece. It's going to go, you can come back north or you can go west. So I think we're at the southern bound. So I think this screen will be the... Oh wait, no, this isn't the southern bound, because actually the cave from the start of the game. Well, I think, first of all, Cedric, great gag. I was trying to think, how would H.P. Lovecraft describe the Kool-Aid Man? Then I realized he'd say that he's undescribable in some form or fashion. There's even there's a comedy Lovecraft story, the name of which I can't exactly remember, but it's called something like The Undescribable. The whole thing is about a guy who is obviously a stand-in for H.P. Lovecraft getting needled by his friend because he's always saying that things are indescribable. And then he has an Eldritch experience and he's like, fine, it was indescribable.
A babbling brook chatters its way through the forest.
Is this all just one brook?
You are in the far southeastern corner of the forest. Further passage is blocked by bushes on all sides except the north.
Okay. So, what I'm going to guess is that in the fullness of time, I can get past these bushes.
These bushes look as though someone planted them here deliberately.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get. Okay. Let's come in, look around a little more.
Grey rocks litter the ground everywhere.
Yeah. Glaciers.
Grey rocks litter...
Yeah. Glaciers.
Pine trees grow in profusion.
Pine tree pine.
Grey rocks litter the ground everywhere.
Okay. Okay. Oh, and Thedev, I think... Ooh. Well, that's an excellent question. I was just going to Wikipedia anyway to look up a separate thing. Let me just look up... A brook is a small river or natural stream of fresh water. So I guess a brook... I think we're dealing with a square rectangle kind of deal, where all brooks are small rivers, or I guess not if they're a small river or a natural stream. You know what? I'm probably not going to work out the etymology of bodies of water completely here, but that might be that's probably the distinction for streams versus rivers. And then a brook that is river form is just whether it's big or small, and so all sea-reaching brooks are rivers, but not all rivers are brooks. But the thing I actually came here for was to confirm to myself whether I thought that Falcons versus Hawks. No, okay. I thought there was something where like one of those is like a made-up word, basically, or a made-up classification, and they're actually the same thing. I could be wrong. Okay, back on track. It would be silly not to. Right, because probably a lot of rivers got to feed into lakes and stuff. Otherwise, how the hell would the lakes get filled up? Oh, rain, I guess, is the other big one. You know what? I'm not going to reason my way to geology by first principles today. Okay. Can't be so simple. Ooh. That is a cool sounding river.
The bush won't budge. It's almost as if it were welded to the spot by magic.
Almost as if, Mr. Rhys Davies? Or exactly as if?
An enchantment has been placed on the hedge to the west.
Magic hedge to the west. So obviously, as we probably all inferred, as soon as this bush was blocking the way, this is deliberately stopping us from getting to the house. Not that we have any reason to know that we need to go to the house, but like I said, I'm a hero. I'm just messing around, doing whatever I can to cause things to happen. Can we trigger the hedge? Perfect. Points for that? I do love getting points. No. No points. Oh well. Okay. Yeah, they didn't push me right to the limit. I stumbled into being like a multi-class character here after when I created this guy. If we remember all the way back in EGA Heroes Quest, I specifically was like, this guy's just a pure wizard, so I get the pure wizard experience. And then Quest for Glory 2 misread me as a fighter, and then I became a paladin and put all that together. And I think multi-class characters probably do have an easier path. Okay. Well, we gotta know. Oh, whoops. But I should put here north and west forest and magic bush. Although, that annotation won't be super helpful to me because I've caused the magic bush to disappear. Let's find out what's beyond. A musical cue. Oh.
Every sense tingles with the feeling of danger. The eye sockets of the skulls glow with deadly energy. Even the hut looks hungry.
Yes, I'm immensely talented. The hero here. The one thing he's... Well, actually, it's not just one thing. There's a few things he's no good at. He can't pick a lock to save his life. He's too honorable. Can't sneak around. Because he works out too much. So his big, thick... No, not going there. Anyway, bad at sneaking. Oh, yeah, right. I never needed to learn to pick locks, because if I see a lock, I just go, But I'm no good at acrobatics, despite all that time I spent falling off the balance beam. Alright, so obviously, we have confirmed... Well, I guess it's not officially confirmed, but this is Baba Yaga's hut. We found where Baba Yaga's hanging out.
Skulls line the pathway to a most peculiar chicken-legged hut. There can't be many like it. This must be Baba Yaga's hut, last seen in Spielberg.
Yeah, just an oafish...
The nearest skull is fixed in a perpetually sour expression.
Oh.
One eye socket is empty, the other filled with a brilliant gem, like the flare of the frost flame.
Are we going to be able to talk to our buddy again?
I'm sure you've seen this skull and that gem somewhere before.
Yeah, Spielberg. You were just saying, Mr. Rhys Davies, in the other box.
Skulls line the pathway to a most...
Yes, I know that. But what's this giant mortar and pestle?
Skull...
It's a giant mortar and pestle.
It's a dead body, artistically laid out for maximum shock effect. Actually, it just happened to fall in that position, but please don't tell him.
Okay, so that is not a... that's not a Halloween decoration. Should we toss the body and see what we can find? Oh, jeez, that's... Has my honor gone down for abusing a corpse? No. But that was not what I meant to do. I did get some puzzle points for actually coming in here. Will my old buddy the skull, does he remember me? Hey, pal.
Go back or face thy doom. Hey, wait a second. Don't I know you from somewhere? Yeah, you're the guy that turned Baba Yaga into a frog. So what are you doing here? Trying out for the part of soup du jour or auditioning for the main course?
Do you forget, my buddy, what went down last time we did this little rigmarole? You had to move. But I also got you an extra eye, which I see you didn't take good care of.
She's back to her old self, if you knows what I mean. Other than a craving occasionally for flies and a distaste for frog legs, she's the same as ever.
For anyone who for some reason doesn't know anything about Quest for Glory 1, I'll clarify. At the end of that game, I turned Baba Yaga into a frog. But she managed to find a way to turn her way back, so we're not going to meet her in frog form. How have you been, though, Mr. Skull?
Call me Bonehead. I'm just hanging around like always.
You would think... I guess he's the only talking skull. I'd been thinking about this like he's the one that I talk to. But if he's the only talking skull, it makes sense that he would call himself Bonehead. But if all his company is the other talking skulls, why would any of them choose a name that just says, I'm the one who's a skull? Okay. So you said I'm in danger. Is that because of Baba Yaga?
Danger? Around here? Nah, must be your paranoia acting up again. This place is as cozy and safe as a coffin.
Okay. So, the hut seems to be doing well.
You can see for yourself that the hut's okay. Took it a bit to settle down from the last flight, though.
Yeah, I bet. It doesn't even have wings, does it? I can't remember. Did it sprout wings when it escaped?
You mean the hut of brown now sit down sort of thing the last time you was by? Well, that don't work anymore. Just go up to the hut and it'll squat and let you in, if it wants you in.
Interesting. Anyway, remember all that... I worked so hard to get you an eye. Couldn't take better care of that?
Aye. Not bad at all. I has
Oh!
to admit, you gave me a real gem.
I've been misremembering. I was thinking that you had one eye, I gave you a second one. You had no eyes, I gave you one, you've hung on to it. Awesome. Well. I should have greeted the skull. That was rude. I'm not going to say goodbye yet. So, yeah. Jeez. Man, Spielberg, right?
Don't remind me. I thought I was
It's
gonna be
exactly
left
the
behind.
voice, I don't know why, that I was
But
expecting the
Baba
skull to
Yaga
speak
picked me
with.
up later. You sure made her mad.
Yeah, I bet. Do you have any feelings about gnomes? I met a gnome. He seems... You and him, I think you get along well. What? Come on, man. Okay, let's see if this is a glitch that has taken over the game.
Put it this way.
Nope.
A wristwatch ain't much use without a wrist. And a pair of dancing shoes don't do much when you got no legs. You know what I mean? Bring me something to keep the sun out of my eyes, maybe.
Okay. I'm working here on minimal context because you... I don't know, the files are missing for your lines there, and so the game just rushed right through them? Okay. These fry guys. Okay. Almost there. The other skulls do what he says. They won't crisp me if he tells them not to. So we've confirmed the skulls are like his companions, and so like maybe Bonehead is not the most obvious name to make yourself an individual. But I got to do something for him before he'll let me in. Is Big B Baba Yaga? Oh joy. Okay. Alright. I will get this whole line eventually. Yeah, Baba Yaga is still mad and she wants to eat me. Okay. Now I guess, okay. Jeez. I'll try to get what I can get out of this. Ah. No, like, there's an audio player hotkey pause button. I don't think that's going to pause this. However, I was able to glean enough from his dialogue that it's the exact exposition you'd think. Except the only thing I didn't get was the first part about the gnome. Okay, something I'm trying to help the gnome. Might not be. Okay. Getting there. Okay. I'm trying to help the gnome. Obviously, the gnome has trouble with Baba Yaga because she took away his ability to be funny. So I need an audience with her, but if I try to go there now, I'm going to be burnt alive. I need to get like a visor cap or something for Bonehead here.
See you around.
You will, because of the eye that I gave you. Don't forget that, buddy. Before we leave here, see if the Fry guys will stop me from checking out the giant mortar and pestle.
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
I think
I'm
they
not.
Okay. Yeah. You can in fact see that this one's getting ready. Okay. Do I have anything now that would be a good... I had a feeling that it was probably literally as simple as the files aren't there or they're misnamed. Okay, what's this? Candy. Obviously, can't use candy as sunglasses because that makes no sense. Okay. Probably not within the spirit of the request. Pull a bag over his head. And I don't think that... It's not the kind of favor that we can gimmick. And he's going to be like, oh yeah, you tricked me. But I will honor the bargain anyway. Okay. So...
Don't come back unless you got a reason to be here.
Yeah. Obviously. You know me, buddy. I'm a very practical guy. Alright, so... I guess I'm probably not taking as many notes as I should. Bonehead, the skull, wants something to shade his eyes before he'll let you pass. Great. Oh, in fact, why don't I also note to myself? Your gnome pal has been cursed to not be funny by Baba Yaga. Probably I would not need that note on account my evidence for that proposition being that it's been 2 weeks and I remembered that detail. But you never know. Oh, whoops. Forgot to put a very important thing on the note. Baba Yaga's hut. Got it. Okay. There is more forest to explore, but it's also getting late. Ah! The sunset is beautiful. The mental imagery of having your eyes shaved is quite the opposite. Okay, I think I should be making my way home right now. In fact, perhaps I should be running home. Not home. You know. Home is where you're saving the day this month. I believe the saying goes. Okay. So we'll go north from here. Scroll this up a little. Go north from here. And then... Okay, so then I'm there. West, and then it should just be 2 screens north. And hopefully... I'll be able to enter the town. My jaunty confidence might have gotten the better of me here. Oh no.
You feel a chill go through you as you enter this part of the forest, as if a cold wind suddenly sprang up from nowhere.
Okay. I've gotten confused. Oh no! Oh no! Can we fight? We can! Okay. I'm going to be killed. Okay. We need to be properly protected. Perhaps there's an item at some point that will help me fight wraiths. Okay. So, it is important to return home before it gets dark. And so, we have a menu option for that. Excuse me, buddy.
Don't come back unless you got a reason to be here.
Yeah, we need some kind of wraith spray. I assume will be the answer. Okay. So north from there gets us here. And then I go west. West. And I go west. Looks like it's time for action. Oh man, I hate fighting these little wyvern things though. Ah! If I flee to the safety of the lovely garden, that problem's solved. So I want to go out, go west. West again. Now north. We'll go north twice. I think we're going to make it this time. Here's where we got wraithed. West. And 2 norths ought to do it. If my map can be trusted, which it... I guess we're going to find out if it can be. Oh, look at you. You know what? I should have tried. Slay the vampire bunny. Strike the double bicep pose for nobody in particular. I ought to sleep in the lovely garden. At some point.
The villagers have erected a scarecrow to keep birds away from the newly harvested corn. Tall shocks of corn have been harvested.
Corn.
Some beautiful
birds, giant pumpkins. Okay. Seems probable there will be something here at some point. Actually, you know what? I can see that one much more being a purely aesthetic screen. That is a perfect explanation, Cedric. Every single time he's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" He's never ever gonna... And you know, by the end, Uhura was praising his improvement as a spear thrower and a balanced wrestler, and he became a Symbani warrior, and she liked that. And he saved the day, and he knows she saw it. But how are you ever gonna get the... Your arms are too skinny and weak to be a good spear thrower, hero. Out of your mind. Communing with Erana? I don't know. Probably. I think I've already cast Detect Magic here, and also, yes, there's magic here, obviously.
You sense magic radiating from the staff and protecting this area.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Can we speak to Erana's staff?
You hear a voice in your head.
We can.
My destiny is not yet fulfilled. One life for a death, and one death for a life.
Okay. Erana says... I assume that was Erana. My destiny is not yet fulfilled. 1 death for a life and 1 life for a death. I might have that backwards, but fortunately, I don't think it'll actually matter. I think the construction is giving me the same clue if there is a clue. Either way. Well, what if am I profaning the thing if I touch it?
The staff feels warm and almost alive in your hand. You hear an eerie voice in your head.
This I must first do. The sacrifice of life for one of love.
You find yourself letting go of the staff very quickly.
Okay. This I first must do. But hold on. Sorry to bother you, Erana.
The staff feels warm.
This I must first
Sacrifice
do.
of life for one of love.
The sacrifice of life for one of love.
You find yourself letting go of the staff very quickly.
This I first must do, the sacrifice of life for one of love. Okay. Oh, you know what? Wouldn't be a bad time to quickly review here. The rituals of the Mad Monk. 1 is placed within the Mad Monk's tombstone, there to be forever guarded by followers. 1 is placed in the Stone of Squids, revealed only by the light of a dead child's soul. 1 is placed in the hollow of the Hangman's tree. Is that the tree with the hanged body hanging from it out in front of Verana's place? Quite possibly. And guarded by the spirit of the dead, which remains there. The blood ritual should be concealed magically within the monastery. Only he who willingly seeks dark visions shall find it. I think I have willingly sought dark visions. I drank the weird wine and hallucinated some shit. I don't know. The mouth ritual should be placed in the Great Arch itself under the Dark One's sign. And the heart ritual should be given to someone named Gregor for safekeeping. And pursuant to that, I've learned that Gregor is missing in the forest and probably dead. Sucks to be Gregor. Okay, let's get a good night's sleep. And then we will finish mapping that forest.
You hear movement on the other side of the door. After a few minutes, you hear someone removing the bar and unlocking the bolts on the other side of the door.
I can't get over this few minutes thing, because we know this guy is standing 15 feet from the door at the most. But okay. Got anything to... Hello, everybody.
I'll turn to stare at you, then go back to talking.
You couldn't all turn and say hello? Any new dialogue with our innkeeper friend? Heard any rumors about the horrible fate of your daughter? Because I could share one with you.
I do not gossip.
You're missing out on a juicy one. Well, good night, everybody.
They all ignore you as usual.
Yeah, that's true. They all have remarks about... what would the remarks be about? They all have at least one dumb joke to make about, like, how I knock. Foreigners always knock, like...
A voice from behind the door says, "Oops, sorry. Seems I forgot about my burglar alarm. Hope it wasn't too shocking for you."
I mean, it was more shocking than it should have been. Because I should have remembered it was there. But I wanted to see if you have any thoughts.
Back. It's good to see you again. As a matter of fact, I just got some candy from my Aunt Jemima. Go on, have a piece.
Jemima. That's quite a name.
You know you will be sorry if you do, and Sorry if you don't.
That's my auntie, always making me laugh when I'm blue. No, you're blue. That's right.
Just blew myself. So, yeah. I found Baba Yaga's hut.
What a funny world. You turned Baba into a frog, and she turned me into an ass.
Ah,
She is around here somewhere, you know. I just don't know where for sure.
southeastern corner of the forest. But anyway, oh, hello.
Back again? We didn't say goodbye long enough ago as it is.
Ha, charming. Well, can I ask you anything new? Always worth checking.
Just call me Punny. Oh, Mr.
No. Okay. That's enough of that. Goodbye,
Leaving so
Punny.
soon, Goon?
Listen, pal. I think it's reasonably clear I am not a goon.
It makes the perfect cap to the gnome's jester costume. The gnome likes to take a quick nightcap before he goes to bed.
Okay. Quickly checking to see, is there any reason to think
About the vampire architect?
I bet I'm about
He
to.
designed the Vampire State Building. Always leave you laughing, I always say.
Well, yes, you succeeded. Just trying to make this poor guy feel better. Okay.
You unlock the door to your room and go in.
Here we are. Home sweet home. Let's go to bed. Sleep till morning.
In your sleep, you seem to hear voices.
Do you see him?
Yes, he is sleeping. Most likely in the inn, although it is hard to focus the vision enough to tell.
I do not understand why you did not just capture him in the first place. The charades you play are foolish.
Silence! To serve us, it will be for the best if he acts under his own free will. Why make an enemy out of a willing tool? Oh, but I forget. He is already your enemy.
This is not someone to play games with, I say. If he finds out what is going on, he will never cooperate. Besides, you risk his death. Mordavia is a very dangerous place.
I think he is quite capable of taking care of himself. Besides, I have ways of making him cooperate. As you well know, I will use them only if I must.
The voices fade off into oblivion. You awaken as the sun begins to rise.
Is the sinister female voice and the woman... Oh, we got her name. Was it like Trina or something? Who's working with, obviously, the resurrected Ad Avis and I think a third person. She's probably also the young woman who, at the very start, greeted me outside the cave and was like, here is how you get to Mordavia. And I bet her ways of getting me to cooperate have something to do with her feminine charms. Okay. Downstairs. Say good morning to this unfriendly jerk of an innkeeper.
Ah, so you are back.
I slept here, man. It's an inn. Can I get some breakfast? I guess this is the chair to sit in.
Nothing like a good breakfast to get you off to a good start in the morning. Especially when everything's laced with garlic.
Seasoned with garlic? Laced makes it sound more sinister than it is, obviously. Okay, have I eaten the breakfast? Do I have to...
You straighten out your...
Yes, I know that.
You straighten...
Okay. Great. Very good.
The innkeeper nods at you.
Can't get a wave here, pal? Alright, delicious breakfast. Most important meal of the day. We are protein loaded. Let's, just gotta find our way out. There we go. Oh!
Look, he is safely locked away. We should wait a bit to see if the gravedigger shows up.
Well, there you go. Igor's missing. That ties it. The little weasel never goes anywhere, for crying out loud.
Yeah, except when he's with that wacko, crazy, cuckoo doctor.
Why else would that gypsy be so darn close to town? He got a taste
Traveler.
for meat.
It was a full moon outside last night, I'm telling ya.
Yeah, somebody's going to jail. Justice must be served, even for that little gravedigger.
Justice? We don't even know if a crime has really been committed. Just relax, go home or to the inn. The gypsy goes nowhere.
Traveler,
we can
please?
decide what to do later.
But we...
This is not the preferred nomenclature.
Later, go home.
Alright, well, something's afoot. Hey, people.
You say hello to the group.
A weary hello.
A stranger. Have you heard that Igor was killed and we...
Will you stop saying that? We only know that Igor is missing.
But we already have Igor's murderer.
We have a gypsy, that is all.
But you know that all gypsies are werewolves.
Okay, so the
I do not know that, and neither...
The nomenclature is not the most
If
problematic
you would
thing
stop listening to
with
old
these
wives'
fellas'
tales
attitudes.
And start thinking, you'd realize only that the gravedigger is missing, and all else is in your imaginations.
I do appreciate the Burgermeister. You know, being the voice of reason here. But okay, Igor is missing. An inciting incident. I suppose the real inciting incident of this game is that I got teleported into Mordavia. But now something's afoot.
A gypsy was found right outside the town gates. We brought him here for questioning.
Why don't you have a bake sale, pal, and send away for a clue? Everyone knows that gypsies are werewolves.
Yeah, little Igor was somebody's Big Mac, and you want us to just go home?
That werewolf is a danger to us all. Think of our families
Folks,
and our mistresses.
Do you think I would endanger the town by allowing him to escape? The gypsy is securely locked up. He will not get away.
if I could bring up the on what grounds point again. So, hold on. Werewolves? Because I've already met a vampire and I've been killed by a wraith, I think, in a weird, faded memory. Smokey! Hello!
Werewolves are mere peasant tales.
You want to see a peasant tale, pal? Look, we all know that werewolves are real.
Yeah, I saw the movie. They turn into wolves by the full moon.
They are harmed only by silver in wolf form.
They're allergic to wolf's bane.
There's a poem about it, okay? Even a man who's pure in heart.
And says his prayers by night.
Enough! Enough! It is all hearsay and speculation.
May become a wolf when the wolf bane blooms.
We have a
And the autumn moon is
a
bright.
Roma traveler who has been
Or so
arrested
the
by the
charming
suspicious
legend
village people
says.
on suspicion of being a werewolf. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I bet turns out they're not the right guy. The Burgermeister here has a really interesting relationship to the concept of civil liberties and due process. So on the one hand, he's totally fine with indefinite detention for basically just like having the wrong ethnicity. But on the other hand, he's not going to let them just like lynch this poor guy. I guess like given the general temperature of the room, that makes him pretty liberal. Most of the village people, Smokey, are doing Transylvanian accent, and then you have these three comedians who also, you may have noticed, their voice actors have no respect for the script. Oh yeah, so yeah, Burgomeister. What are your roles and responsibilities?
I am trying to do the job to which I was appointed. I am trying to make certain that justice...
Justice. Justice schmustice, Einstein. Was it justice that little Igor was murdered and wound up the blue plate special?
Yeah, the murderer was caught, and I want to hit him. Let the punishment begin.
You know what?
Right.
Great minds,
Then we'll
British
have
and Cedric.
justice.
That's a very fair point.
Am I the Burgomeister or am I
The
not?
Burgomeister is, in
I
fact,
have
even the
said all
indefinite
that is
detention
to be
thing
said about
ultimately
the
is...
subject.
If he's going to actually protect this traveler in the jail, he's doing the best he can in difficult circumstances. Really a kind of a... It's... We're running into, in our exploration of the late 80s and early 90s and role-playing games, lots of Roma content.
The gravedigger was missing last night.
And we matriculated on down to the cemetery to search, see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we didn't have far to go. Just outside town, we caught ourselves a werewolf.
In werewolf form, though?
Yeah, but we found no trace of poor old
Or did you
Igor.
just tackle a poor traveler?
Enough! Igor is missing. We do not know what happened to him.
Burgomeister has a point here. So, alright. Kind of feel like what's going on has been covered by the rest of the conversation, but have I missed any important details about what is going on?
It is none of your...
Perfect. The gravedigger Igor's been killed.
And we captured a werewolf.
Listen, I'm telling you, Igor's death must be avenged.
Go home. Just go home, all of you. You do not
Obviously,
know the
we
truth yet.
recognize Rodney
We're gonna
Dangerfield.
make the little gypsy tell the truth, don't you?
The other two are bugging me because I get
Yeah, let's see how much
Tell.
longer he does after we take his teeth out
and
by
it's like
hand.
just like this, like, you know, it's
Dimitri, dude,
a
listen.
few synapses away from the part of my
No,
brain where I'll
you
understand.
listen, all of you. There is nothing to be done until we know all the facts.
All right,
Now
yep.
go home.
That's right.
Let me do my job, please.
Okay, good job, Burgomeister. You're doing what you need to do. Oh, I can't say goodbye to the people. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess I should look around town for clues. Oh, wait. Nana Olga's going to want to talk about this, I bet. If she hasn't heard the news, she would not be happy if I hadn't stopped by to tell her about it.
Have you heard?
She's heard.
Igor, the gravedigger, is missing. They say the gypsy did it. We may have a werewolf on a stake soon.
Or Nana Olga. Okay. I like you, Olga. And I'm not surprised that the old Mordavian lady is a little teensy bit racist.
You haven't been eaten yet. We'll see how long you last traipsing about everywhere when you should be staying in this nice, safe town.
I was built to last, Nana Olga. We've talked about this, but have you heard about my adventures lately?
Tell Olga about what you've been doing in Mordavia.
And be sure and keep me informed. I need to know everything that goes on around here. Someone's got to have a clue after all.
Somebody does. But I can probably take care of that for the most part. Do you have any rumors pertaining specifically to Igor being kidnapped?
What would you like to know about?
The gravedigger. Okay, great. We have lots of things, actually. Okay. Jeez. Let's talk about it all, Nana Olga. We might have talked about some of it before.
Hasn't been the same since his daughter was stolen away 2 years ago. Gypsies took her. I told him so. Never listened to me, though. He's not doing much business at the inn either, except for those lazy excuses for farmers that hang out there, and an occasional visitor. He'd go broke.
Yeah. Nana Olga, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to bring the presumably falsely accused Roma gentleman past here, just so you can, maybe talk to him and maybe realize that we're all brothers and sisters.
The Borgovs used to live in the castle north of town. The last Borgov was said to have disappeared under suspicious circumstances. However, no one seems to know just what happened to him.
Yeah, come on. I could tell you all about what's happened. Nobody wants to hear it.
Vampires, is it? There's talk that those strangers up in Castle Borgov are never seen by day and can't abide the smell of good old garlic. If you are going to do any wandering outside town, make certain you have some garlic with you, just in case.
Oh yeah, I'm ready in that sense, Nana Olga. Although I'll tell you this, when I was in Borgov Castle and I met a vampire, she was cool. She was cool. Didn't have a problem. I mean, I had a lot of your garlic avocado sandwiches in my pocket. That might have been the whole reason.
He didn't return to town the other night. Poor man. Something dreadful happened to him. Eaten alive, more's the pity.
But what of the entire other range of possibilities of things that could happen to a person? Because a lot of you folks seem really fixated on the specific idea that Igor has been eaten.
The gypsy was right outside town. The very nervous people. No sooner did it eat for Igor than it went off looking for someone else to chew on. Everyone knows all gypsies are werewolves. I don't know how I'll sleep with that beast so close. We should burn him as quickly as possible. And I told him he'd play dead. Otherwise, who knows what will happen when that gypsy gets loose? We'll all be eaten.
Alright. My estimation of Dmitri the Burgomaster is on the rise, because it really kind of seems like I understand why he's so grumpy. If this is the shit he has to deal with all the time. And if he's holding the line against lynch mobs, he's not only preventing lynchings, which is probably something you should do, but he's also preserving the souls of the people who live in his town. They're just racists and not racist murderers. And that old man?
Old Nikolai has been crazy for years.
We've talked about this before now.
It has been years since Anna has been gone. Before I even was married. Lost in the woods she was, and eaten by something terrible, so it said.
Oh, is that what they say?
Oh, they were such a happy couple. Now Nikolai's just crazier than a chicken with its head cut off.
Okay. I don't know, is there a follow-up here?
Such a bad place to settle down, you know. You could easily earn a living farming here. That certainly has more job security than adventuring, after all.
I don't know that it does, because the farmers here seem like they're not really working a lot. They're getting drunk in the inn all day. And I've never wanted for work. As long as I've been in here. Everywhere I go, everything's all just horrible. Anyway, it's always a pleasure.
You take care. Don't want
On the note of elephant taming, Cedric, I'm going to pivot for a moment and say that I think that Elephant Mario is going to be a fun... I don't even really understand what it does, except presumably destroys smaller enemies on contact, but that sounds like a fun power-up in Mario Bros. Wonder. Looking forward to that.
As my lost husband used to say, may all your travels lead somewhere.
I'm optimistic they will, Nana Olga.
Calm down, everyone. Give me a little more time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's all well and good, Gandhi, but we have waited long enough.
Yeah, he's right. I got
Gentlemen,
first dibs. That gypsy's
Can
gonna
we cool it on
That gypsy's
at
gonna make
least
Joan
one
Arc
of
look like a piker. He's gonna burn at the
constant
stake.
racism?
Yes, yes. If I cannot find out what
Comic
happened to
anachronism.
Igor before tomorrow, you shall have your burning.
I have 1 day. Okay, Mr. Burgermeister, Dimitri. If we're on a first name basis here, which we're definitely not. This guy's forgotten that my name is James. Okay, yikes. Can't hold any more save games, you say? Well, let's just start deleting from the back. Spare ourselves this message for a little while. Monastery Knights. Basement Lurker. All the first day stuff. And then, I'm actually just going to use the save that already exists. Okay. Well, I guess mapping the forest can wait. Unless it turns out that to solve this mystery quickly, we need to actually go around into a new spot in the forest. Obviously, our first destination, once we make a quick circuit of town, see if I can find any clues. First order of business will be to go to the cemetery.
It's an advertisement for Igor's headstone business.
Could Igor be trapped in the Borgov crypt?
You don't notice anything special there?
No evidence of what happened to Igor, you're
It
saying?
looks pretty much.
Okay, fine. Everything looks like I expect. I get it. Not going to be able to talk to Dr. Cranium yet. Because... Wait, what's this?
This doorway leads to a private residence.
Okay. Obviously, if I could talk to the prisoner, that would also be helpful. Oh no. Ah. Dun, 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 dun. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Ah. All the more frustrating, of course, that I came here for no reason. I don't have a way in yet.
You hear mysterious bubbling and sizzling noises.
That'll be
Every
Dr.
once in a
Cranium.
while, you think you hear someone muttering to himself.
But I don't think we're going to meet Dr. Cranium before we solve all his stupid puzzles.
You faintly hear a voice saying, "Don't knock, come on in," from beyond the door.
Or, can it all be this simple? Oh, right. Unlock that, it makes a keyhole. Not thrilled to see I am going to need to solve that puzzle again. Solve being a relative term, since... Thedev starts by saying, "Yeah, I'm thinking it over, and as pervasive as the gypsies are enigmatically untrustful outsiders trope in..." Boom. And then the rest of it's on the screen. Yeah, that is one thing. Like, most of what in the portrayal, like...
You've uncovered a keyhole, but you don't have a proper key to open
the puzzle does stay solved. Yeah, like, it's not like the Ultima games are encouraging us to share the prejudices against the travelers. Really, it is the dated nomenclature that is really the cringeworthy part of the portrayal for the most part. There's that trio of travelers in Ultima 6 who are like they're traveling prostitutes, and like two of them are brother sister, and they're like the brother's hyping up how hot his sister is. But because they're not the only traveler characters, and in fact we meet all kinds of different travelers, that doesn't bother me much. It doesn't bother me as much as it would if just the game was saying like, oh yeah, you know what those people are like, I don't know. Okay, I am going to run to the washroom, and then we're going to get out there, and we're going to investigate Igor's disappearance. Hang tight, gang. I'll be right back with you. Okay, back at it. You know what was an aspect of the... Whoops. Of the... I don't know. There we go. Aspect of the Greek wedding that I was not prepared for, not personally having been involved in the Greek Orthodox Church in any way in my life. It's the not only the length of the wedding ritual, which is pretty long, partially because there was clearly a lot of thematics around things being done in threes, and so I think a lot of portions of the lengthy sort of prayer recitation that the priest led or conducted or performed was there's a lot of repetition within that and of him saying the same thing. And then also it's like not the whole thing, but almost all of it is spoke sung. It was very interesting.
Calm down, everyone. Give me a little more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have an obvious mission here. So let's get to work. Let's make sure not only that someone doesn't get horribly killed, but that the, flawed but still human and fundamentally probably decent folk of Mordavia don't stain their souls by performing a lynching. Okay, the graveyard. To get to the graveyard, not hard. We'll go south. The more I think about it, the more confident I am that Igor is just in the crypt, or possibly all the way to the castle. Right? Because not every player is going to do the thing I did, of immediately bumbling in once more to the east, right? And then north? Not every player is just going to immediately be like, I better start messing around and find their way to the castle. So this would be the kind of thing that, without actually... Oh!
You hear a monstrous groaning noise from beneath the fallen tombstone. Perhaps a horrible monster waits below.
Or maybe it's much simpler than that. Okay. Well, am I strong enough to save the day? Just with my pure strength?
You fail to budge the heavy gravestone. It will take more strength than you've got to move this, or better leverage.
Oh, right, that too. Although, now it kind of already seems like it's not quite what's happening. Okay. Is this a thing that can be opened? Yes.
Igor saved! Kind stranger saved Igor! Good kind stranger! Igor happy grave, not Igor's grave!
That's only part of the good news, Igor. Did you want to reward me, though? No? Thought you might stick around and give me a prize? No? Okay. Did I have anything I could have used as leverage? I mean, maybe it was just like my sword could be leveraged. Although that doesn't seem like it would actually be a good way to treat a sword. The grappling hook? I don't know. At any rate, it hardly mattered. Oh yeah, maybe like putting the grappling hook over the tree branch would make a pulley?
A fresh grave has recently been opened here.
Yeah, and also when the townsfolk... I guess the townsfolk didn't do any... Oh ho! Excellent! Thanks for confirming that, Cedric. So there you go. My knowledge of simple machines would have paid off here if my knowledge of the arcane arts
How
had
about
failed.
that old one? Death is just nature's way of telling you to slow down.
Okay. Well, it didn't turn out to be super hard to avert the lynching. Hopefully. Hopefully you don't get back and they're like, I don't care. Scores up. I'm a better communicator. No more honor. Although I felt it was at least fairly honorable to have saved Igor's life in order to prevent an awful hate crime. And to prevent Igor's own death. From, I guess, starvation or exposure. Which would be rough. It was all around not a great scene. It's not a good situation Igor found himself in. Maybe Mordavia, a morbid town where a lot of the work is in the interment of the dead. Perhaps they need to expand the industry. Perhaps Igor would benefit from some assistance. Huh? I guess that's for them to work at. Okay. Gonna throw down a save. But I was kind of hoping the Burgomeister would be here to say, oh man, jeez. Or perhaps I can go in. Dimitri!
The gypsy is gone.
Exactly, British. Like, you know, we're not dealing with Roberta Williams levels of like, oh, you walked onto a new screen? Well, now you're dead. And yet, you never know when you're going to do something stupid. And Dimitri.
Welcome back. I suppose you've heard all the latest news by now.
I don't know. What's the news? Maybe we can just talk about it. I'll come closer to you so you don't have to shout. So you said the traveler's gone. He's traveling on.
The gypsy is no longer my prisoner. Good riddance. I would not have enjoyed burning.
Not gone like he disappeared. And good. You shouldn't want to burn anyone at the stake.
I'm just glad this whole thing is over. I hope this is the last of people disappearing mysteriously around here.
Igor did not disappear. He was right where he had last been seen, and you could hear him without, like, straining. But I guess the townspeople got too fired up for a lynching.
The townspeople are foolish sometimes. They want easy answers instead of difficult solutions.
I mean, there's at least one solution here that was literally a simple machine. Just a pulley. Alright, well. I should look around. Here's Dimitri.
The Burgomeister looks like a strong, hearty man, although he has a sad expression.
Really? Felt like his expression was more just grouchy.
A magnificent shield, flanked by 2 great axes, is the office's sole decoration.
Very nice.
In such a small village, only 1 jail cell is needed. The Burgomeister was very fond of wild boar hunting in his youth.
Would I have been able to
He
just
still
come in
keeps a
here
rack
and
of
interrogate the
spears
prisoner?
in case any wild boars should wander into his office.
I don't know. But what I am going to try to do right now, look in that jail cell. Yeah.
The cell door is locked.
Cell is locked. Well, we can deal with that.
It's too dangerous
Oh,
to
yeah.
use magic in town.
Never mind, we can't deal with that.
The townspeople are very suspicious of
Right, of course. They're not going to go to the cemetery precisely because of the danger. Although, again, before you go and just, like, murder a stranger, maybe a little bit of due diligence. Probably Dimitri's just going to be like, yeah, that's my friggin' bedroom, dude.
That's a bad idea with the book.
Yeah. Okay. Great talking to you, as always, I guess, sort of, Dimitri.
Farewell, and thank you for helping Igor. I did not believe the gypsy was guilty, and I did not want to burn him at the stake.
Those are admirable, ways to feel. Dimitri. Alright. Okay. I wonder what the townsfolk have to say about all this. The farmers, specifically. Are we supposed to imagine, to your point, that should we be imagining Mordavia as a childless town? Is that part of its creepy character? Or is this a, picture what's...
Ah, so you are back.
Let your mind fill in the details of what lies beyond the camera. The camera. You probably have nothing specific to say.
The ones that come in here in the evening.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to bother you, Nikolai. Goodbye.
The innkeeper nods at you.
Nod at you in turn, sir. Okay. I mean, that was a pretty efficient investigation. But what time is it? Yeah. About halfway through the day. Get back out there and map the woods some more. See what happens tomorrow when we get back. But, Olga, if she hasn't heard the news, ought to hear it.
Well now, what news do you have for me?
Oh, well. Hello.
So, you haven't been eaten yet.
Yeah, I'm doing what I can, Nana Olga. Yes, by doing the literal just go to the last known whereabouts
Tell
step,
Olga about
the
what
entire
you
case
do.
was solved.
Be sure and keep me informed.
Oh, of course.
I need to...
I just thought you might say something like, great job saving the day.
What the...
Do you have an update on Igor?
Word has it
Yes.
that you rescued the grave digger. Buried alive in his own grave. What a gruesome thought. Why, if you hadn't come across him, who knows what would have happened to him?
Well, I don't know if I would say that I came across him so much as went looking for him to make sure he was okay. Instead of just immediately flying into blood rage at the first stranger I could snatch.
No question about it. They change into wolves at night, eating anyone they can get.
I think you have that one. I think you switched your nouns around there, Nana.
Or magic. So you be careful out in the woods at night. You hear me? The gypsy camp is not at all that far from here.
Ooh. That's promising. One, sort of the northeastern corner of the forest is all that we haven't searched. Well, Nana, it might not be bad for you. You got a pretty sedentary lifestyle going. One walk.
Good night, and don't let the bedbugs bite, as my husband used to say.
As we've discussed here, a charming saying as long as you don't think about it at all. Or when you're a child it works, because you don't know that bedbugs are real. What's more upsetting to find out is real? Bedbugs or giant squids? There we go. Okay. So, we're going to go south twice and then just set out eastward. And there might be maybe one spot in the west. I think that's true. I think that giant squid are scarier, although I think the real life giant squid are not like, RPG monsters that are just constantly trying to attack humans. So that does make them less scary than they could be anyway. But certainly a giant squid is more scary because it's enormous. Things that big shouldn't exist, it doesn't feel like. But yeah, like I'm never going to meet a giant squid. Fedev's comment for anyone watching on video on demand begins with, "It's easy for us to say, but we all know if someone felt ballsy enough to actually look for Igor at the cemetery, they would have turned tail." The rest is here. That's a great point, Fedev. There's nothing they could have done, because even if they had gone and tried to do the right thing, they would have just wound up freaking themselves out and providing more evidence that the poor traveler. Ah, yes. Why didn't I note? I can't remember exactly what that thing's called, so I'm just going to note him as Bush Guy. But alright. So,
you don't notice. You don't. The bush looks a little strange, almost as though it is sitting rather than growing in its place. You don't.
Okay. I guess I can't get a overview kind of description.
This entire area is permeated with powerful magical energy. It seems to be very chaotic and a little bit playful in nature. The bushes seem particularly suspect. Okay.
Are the other bushes here or anything? Might as well check.
You say hello, but there's only silence in return.
Maybe not. But let's try.
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. Good enough. I'm gonna go north first. Thought we'd frozen the game for a moment. But it's just peril. Yeah! Boom. Killing another, The vampire bunnies seem to have kind of be suffering from some like undead, some like rigor mortis or general zombie shambliness, which would make the vampire bunnies easier to kill with a sword than just a bunny. But the hero's pretty pleased with himself. Yeah, like if this thing had actual rabbit powers, that strategy would never work. You'd be kind of just going low with the sword, and then it would just spring at you from like 15 feet away, grab you by the throat. Like a vampire rabbit would actually be really, really dangerous creature to be around. If I go north from here, we're busting things wide open.
You are in the northern part of the forest. Beyond the trees to the southwest, you can just make out the cemetery. On a high mountain to the northwest, you can see a dark castle.
Huh. So it seems like actually I had not found the northern bound. I'm going to need to add rows to my spreadsheet. Because if I go north from here, which I will in a moment after seeing if I can go east. If I go north from here, I'm past the northmost point I've traveled to thus far. This one looks like a northwest and south forest zone. Alright. I'm going to add the row to the spreadsheet. And we can head on to see what lies beyond the previous northmost point that we traveled to. Oh yeah, returning to something I said much earlier that you responded to, Cedric. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Wonder looks great. Looks like it combines the being quite fun of the new Super Mario Bros. Games with the also having all the things that you kind of expected of a Mario game to raise it beyond being just quite fun.
You are in the northwestern part of the forest. On a high mountain to the west, you can see a dark castle.
Is this the northwestern part of the forest? How does that work out? I don't believe I can go any further north. No. So, but I can go east. No sign of the traveler camp. Okay. So this was a south and east forest, which has led me here to what might just be... Can I go north from here? No. Doesn't seem so. But it definitely looks like I can go east. So I'm going to go out on a limb. Call this east, west, south, forest. Try going east from here. It feels like, the northeast corner should be something. Oh, can I go further north from here?
You are in the northeastern corner of the forest. To the north, you can see a clearing in
Oh,
which
ho, ho.
brightly colored wagons form a circle around a fire pit.
Well, that sounds like it might be a good opportunity to meet some new people. But I'm just going to note here that I've got a north and west forest. Speaking of forests, things are really heating up in Pool of Radiance. I've been doing the Hinterlands quests, and yesterday my dreams came true, and I was able to confirm and execute that there is a peaceful path to complete the Stop the Lizardmen from Allying with Ataraxia commission. You do not need to obliterate the Lizardmen, which I was worried I might have to, because I like Lizardmen. No, you could actually do a good service to the Lizardman prisoners in Yarish's pyramid, and then they would give you the secret word, and you could go, and all you got to do is duel a young upstart Lizardman who wants his compatriots to ally with Ataraxia. If you stop them,
You have a strong warning sensation. It is definitely dangerous to be here right now.
really? Is it because of all these wolves? Can I just leave for a moment? Okay. We'll go back there in just a second. Guess I gotta punctuate this one incorrectly if I want it to fit. Take the spaces out. Oh. Travelers, tramps, and thieves. That's what they call us in the town. Alright. Probably. It's bad to be here without a plan. Oh, wait. But I've got a plan.
It's dangerous to be here right now.
Alright. Here come these dogs. The wild dogs, probably guard dogs.
Verdant bushes surround the camp.
Mr. Reese Davies, I was actually a little more concerned.
My, what sharp teeth it has. These wolves look larger and more ferocious than any you've seen.
They don't look that big for wolves, to be honest. They look like big dogs. I'm not going to try telling the wolves. Actually, you know what? Let's see what happens. Calm down, fellas.
Tell the wolves to stay calm.
Stay calm. We don't want any trouble.
They don't seem particularly less agitated.
Okay, but, gentlemen, wolves, my dear wolves, what if I said, calm down?
The wolves look much more relaxed now, but they still won't let you through.
Okay. It's a step in the right direction. I can't call out to anybody. I'm gonna look around.
The gaudily painted blue wagon looks as though it belongs to a wise woman or fortune teller.
It's not that gaudily painted.
It's not easy being green, but this wagon does its best. The huge fire pit will hold a large enough fire for any occasion. A large barrel leans up against one of the wagons. It's not easy. The owner of this wagon evidently couldn't make up his mind about which color to paint it, so he used two.
I'm not sure. I gotta quibble with your police work there, Mr. Reese Davies. Suppose he set out to have a two-color pattern. Okay. So far, not eaten by wolves. I was kind of hoping for, like, you know, the hero's welcome. But what are you gonna do? Okay. Are these bones?
That didn't do anything useful.
What?
That didn't.
Okay. No, the answer is not to give the dogs some bones. Or the wolves. Some bones. Remind myself what I have here. Rocks? Probably not the answer. Candy? I can't imagine looking for taffy. Is there a thing about wolves where they're like playing with flasks? Oh yeah, the blood... Wait, the blood ritual. I didn't realize that I had the blood ritual. It makes sense, because I think that's the one that said... Yeah. Shall be willingly concealed within the dark monastery. So... great news. Let me just give myself a little column here in which I can write. Bam! Awesome. Only 5 blood rituals to go. Flint. Yeah, flint and steel. I've always been more inclined to just start fires. Okay, if I start a fire in the fire pit, will it scare the dogs? No! No, I've been horribly killed. chewed my legs off. Somewhere around the knee on both sides. Doesn't look like I still have a head. Okay. We might as well explore the space a little. Hello, CMS Covered. Welcome. It's a little messy. This character started as a magic user in Hero's Quest. Quest for Glory 2 misread him as a fighter, and I was forced to build some fighting skills along the way in that game. Also, achieved Paladinhood, and then as of Quest for Glory 3, I'm a Paladin with a fair bit of spellcasting ability. But yeah, can I dazzle these dudes? No, they just want to eat it. They're not dazzled by my spell. They're enraged by it. Okay, so far I can calm them down, but that's all I can do. Didn't see any items that look like they would help. Can they be double calmed?
The wolves look much more relaxed now, but they still won't let you through.
No. It's just, now when they're killing me because I've cast the calm spell, it's not like it's very structured killing. That's how they got both my legs at the knee. One wolf clamped down on my thigh while two of them went at the shin. Horrible stuff. It's not a good way to die. Okay. Yes, covered. I did, I did play, the first one that I played was the VGA remake of Quest for Glory, and I did that as a fighter, and then I immediately went back to the EGA version as a magic user, and that's the character who is now transferred all the way through to here. I've never played I know there's a fan remake to do Trial by Fire in the VGA style. I've yet to encounter that. Alright, fellas. Since you don't like bones, and that's really my only idea here, I'm gonna leave you to it and get back to my mapping for now. I really kind of thought that, note the Roma camp on my map. Really did kind of think that, saving one of their lives might have endeared me to them to some degree. So this is a special rock. It just kind of looks
Babbling
like...
brook.
No.
Babbling. It doesn't but
No. You know what? There's something inviting about this rock.
You can't open anything.
No. Okay, that's fine. Onwards. So I'm going to go west and then immediately south. I think this is just going to be another multi-directional forest screen. Yep. North, east, and south forest. I definitely want to check it out at some point because I love these games, and someday I ought to, once I finish the series, I think do a full Thief run because I haven't experienced any of the Thief specific content in any of these games. And then, why not try the beautiful VGA version? Because from what I hear, they did a very good job. These dedicated fans. Four-way forest? Thank you. I will say, especially Trial by Fire, some of the most beautiful EGA graphics I had ever encountered. Alright. I'm going to go east from here, because I think, actually, you know what? Might as well go south, because this will close off. So right now, I'm directly to the east of the... Wait a minute. Oh, no. Is there a mistake in my map somewhere? Okay. This guy ran off again. That's fine. I'm not bothering with him right now. I just got a little bit confused here. Oh, peril. Well, in a manner of speaking. Okay, so what have I done to mess up this map here? Gotta go back north just to correct all this stuff. Ah, okay. Fixed. Excellent. Spidey! Hello! Getting awfully close to returning to Britannia. Because that's next after Quest for Glory, Shadows of Darkness here. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, I guess you gotta take pride in your work, right? But it definitely seems more appropriate to, like, when I get attacked by a wyvern and I take that down. Okay. This took us somewhere new. A north and west forest junction. So obviously we'll be going north, but...
You are on the eastern edge of the forest.
Or actually, is there a north here?
Pine trees grow in profusion in this cool climate. In winter, they needle the deciduous trees mercilessly.
He's coming up with... He's working out new lines to pester me with. Oh, they're excellent. This is my first time through, and I am quite enjoying them.
You are near the northeastern corner of the forest.
Yeah.
Grey rocks litter the... You are near...
Babbling Brook. Okay. I don't think I can go north from here. If I can go west, then my whole... What is wrong with my map? Okay, if I go west from here, where am I? Okay. I go north from here, where am I? I'm closing in on being devoured in the woods. Okay. Now I know where this is. Is it action time? Well, I gave him a sporting chance there. I let him get in a hit. Okay. Okay, okay. This then... Uh-oh. I'm seeing stars. Okay. Is my map reliable enough? Probably not. But maybe that garden is safe. Yeah, the bunnies have the excuse, though, of being rabbits. And also rabbits that have been compelled to become undead. Okay. Is this the beautiful garden? Am I there? Ooh. Things just light up at night.
Beautiful music streams forth from the illuminated lantern.
I assume I have already cast Detect Magic here, but how magical is this place?
A soft, magical aura permeates the entire garden. Strong magic emanates from the fruit tree and the center of the pool in the stream. The lanterns are also magical.
Tremendously magical place. Okay. Let's see, can we?
You didn't manage to fetch. You didn't.
No. Can I just reach in though?
You take a drink of the cool water. It tastes like wild strawberries.
I don't know if that was wise. It's not what I was thinking to do, but okay. Well, I know it's like illusion magic. I guess the vaguely defined trigger spell is always worth casting in the presence of magic. Okay, cool. What's this?
A magical fountain has sprung up from the water. At the top is a huge tulip, its flower tightly closed.
Interesting. Will it open? It shall. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Let me review my notes here for a moment. There's nothing obvious to me here that would make this one of the rituals, because it looks like it's a scroll, right?
Your spell has opened the tulip.
Okay, but now it's closed and left. Alright. Once more. We got a 3-spell cycle to get through here before the thing gets bored.
You capture the scroll with your fetch spell. As you read the scroll, knowledge of how to cast a protection spell enters your mind. Then the scroll vanishes. Protection is a sort of magical shield which will help guard you from physical attacks.
Well, that's all well and good. Except my real big problem here is dealing with the wraiths at night. I just don't think that they're gonna do anything.
The bonsai bush is thriving in the rich soil.
And I'm happy for it, but why does it matter that I did that? We can toy with them now. Cast a protection spell on myself, and then just let the bunny wear itself out so I can strangle it. Alright. Well. What happens if one tries to sleep in the special garden of strange magic. Let's find it together.
You feel the sensation of floating freely in a swirling cloud of magic. You are warm.
And he started.
Surrounded by the sound of peaceful beauty. You feel as if you are suddenly totally alive. You can remember every happy moment of your past, taste every favorite sensation, hear all the colors of the universe. This is the true joy of living.
Awesome.
Suddenly, you find yourself trapped by darkness.
No, as soon as I said the word awesome, the music box kind of got to a minor.
Darkness is tearing the warmth, life, and magic from your body. Pain. The agony of lungs without air. The burning cold of a body trapped in ice. The terror of helplessness as death approaches. You float, cold and lifeless. You awaken as the sun begins to rise.
All right.
You wake in a cold sweat. You remember every detail of the nightmare as though it had really happened to you.
Well, that was something. I'm intrigued. Okay. At the very least, I was able to sleep in the garden. What I wasn't necessarily able to do is have a great sleep. I mean, that part with all the, like, this is the joy of being alive, that part of sleep was good. But around when it became experiencing the every pain imaginable while being consumed by the terror of imminent death, I can imagine better nights than that. Okay. I think I'm pretty close to having tapped out everything I could do in the forest, but let me just confirm that. And then, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. North from here. And I'm at a four-way forest that's directly to the west of the bushes. It would be great if that was true and I could trust the map. I mean, the map got me to the garden. Yes. Okay. I can see you, man.
You say...
Okay. Very fun. Later on, I might play with you some more, buddy. Right now, I don't know what you're playing at or why I would be interested in participating in it with you. Okay, so across this little bridge. So west-north forest, which I think means we're about to hit our limit, because if my notes are correct, and again, it's not necessarily how it is. I'm going to go north here and be in this place. Yep. Okay. So that takes care of most of everything. Sounds like I'm heading towards some peril. Oh! Okay. It's an upsetting new thing. Well, certainly glad I've got this new protection spell. At first, how does this thing feel about being blasted with lightning? You can take or leave it. Okay. Feeling warm and safe. Okay, this thing's wasting no time. Oof, oof, oof. Not a ton of tactical acumen here. Okay. Cast the healing spell on yourself, hero.
You feel
That costs stamina, but got it. All right. See, now that warrants throwing up the double biceps.
Searching for the fallen beast, you find nothing of value.
Is that
Yes,
the
you were planning to start
Necrotor
a
that I've been
princess.
hearing about? I don't know. But hey. Hey, Jacket! Welcome. Hey, it worked. It worked. Okay.
Your
So,
protection spell has worn off.
I think I'll be okay now. Yes. Absolutely. Just stun lock them in the corner. What the hell is this? Where have I gone? What have I done?
You are in the northwestern part of the forest. On a high mountain to the west, you can see a dark castle.
Okay. I think this is the big forest exploration problem that I have, is that every time I get into a fight, I forget where I am. Okay, let's go south from here. Oh yeah, okay. Now I know where I am, obviously. Okay.
The bush seems to be just out of your reach.
Does it though? Does it really? Okay. Oh, I get it. He's playing a game. Okay.
The bush...
Okay. Fine. I'll play a game with you. Can I fetch the bush away from him?
You didn't manage to fetch...
No. Well, can my vaguely defined trigger spell?
Your spell does nothing. It only works upon magically enchanted objects.
Okay, and this little bush inhabited by Rumpelstiltskin doesn't count. Alright. Well, we'll mess with him later. Okay. 2 more screens to the west, and then just to the north. We're back in good old Mordavia, see if any new horrible thing has happened. See if the townsfolk are gearing up for another lynching. Man, I hope Punny Bones is okay. They might not even need to believe that there's something horrible going on to be like, you know what if we killed this guy? Our lives would be less annoying if we just killed this guy. Okay. I should return to town right now, and so I suppose I will. Oh, once again, banned from save games. Perhaps this is why... Perhaps the average player does not just insist on starting a new save game every time he's doing a different thing. That could be it. Now we're making our way home, but actually, now that I've got a nice safe save here. I gotta look here for a second. Dun. Okay. My notes are correct. My map is correct. And there's no reason to believe that it is. But if it was, and I went south 3 screens and then west 1, I might be able to get towards south 1, south 2. Hope that no more raggedy beasts, possibly Necrotors, but also possible that the Necrotor is a separate, more horrifying creature. Here we go. This one is warier. Alright. See, now I can brag, because I did that while almost dead. That's an actual feat. Okay. So... okay. Looking at my map a little more closely. There's also got to be a better way to do a map than what I'm doing. That's okay. That's okay. I think I need to go north once. And then west. And then, if this thing is bounded so it can't go north... Yep. Alright. I have not stepped to the west here. It's probably swamp or just a junction, but we ought to have a complete map, right? It's just a junction. Anything notable?
You're in the far western part of the forest. A lovely lake stretches out to the south and southwest of here.
Well, as we know, there's currently nothing much going on. In the lake, except a lady of the lake who wants to drown me. Uh-oh. Hope it's another bunny. Great. Okay. Lorianne never gives you more than you can handle. Hey, good job, little guy. He's playing a smarter game. Not that smart. But he was shucking and jiving. He was dancing like a butterfly, and then he got stung by a bee. Sure. And he's allergic to bees, and so it killed him. Alright. North 3, as I recall. Yeah, once more. And then to the east. And then we're back.
A babbling brook.
Man, my eternal sympathies to all severe allergy sufferers out there. Like, it's awesome that the product of the EpiPen exists, but man, I can only imagine the stress. Especially during the many years when I had undiagnosed ADHD. If I had to remember to bring a thing with me all the time just in case my imminent death occurred due to something that would be minor to another person.
The werewolf threat has ended. Since
Oh,
we
God.
have found and rescued Igor,
Okay.
and released our gypsy prisoner, it seems it was not a werewolf after all. All the peasant fears were for nothing.
And so what you're saying is he didn't kill him, which is what I momentarily thought, like, oh no, did you decide? Did you go like, you know what? We should play it safe, just kill him.
You say hello to the Burgermeister.
You are a very polite person. Perhaps I should learn some manners from you for dealing with strangers.
Oh, Dimitri, tip number 1. You don't have to say everything so that it comes with an air of vague menace. Like, not even changing your words. Just a less menacing tone. So yeah, the guy say anything? Like, here's the secret if you ever need to get past our wolves.
The gypsy has no doubt returned home to his people. They have an encampment to the east.
Yeah. Nice place, I think. Pack of wolves guarding it. Not great.
I will be able to get a real night's sleep for once. I do not have to worry that the prisoner will be harmed or that he will escape now.
I'm glad... Hey, listen, Dimitri. You've gone way up in my estimation since during this whole werewolf affair.
The people of this town will settle down again. They cried so loudly for blood because they are tired of living so long in the shadow of fear.
From that castle full of bad guys?
There is a rumor that perhaps I was mistaken in trying to drive you away from Mordavia. That perhaps you are the hero you claim to be.
And prince.
You know how rumors are.
I'm also a prince.
Trust what you hear.
I see what you... Yeah, I see it. It's not that big of a shift to get from, I don't know what the name of that traditional hat, to a...
They care.
Paul Bunyan lumberjack hat. Just need some ear flaps on it. Okay. I mean, should see if Igor's back to his thing. Maybe Igor's got some news.
Igor, very glad not to still be in grave. You Igor's friend now.
Now? Igor, I thought we were already friends, buddy. But yeah. How are you doing, Igor?
Good to see you.
The second best that it's ever been to see me, perhaps? Probably never going to top that one where you were buried alive and I saved you. But yeah, can I tell you about the grave you fell in?
You tell Igor how you figured out he was stuck in the grave.
Yeah, I heard you.
Lucky for Igor, you persistent hero.
There wasn't that much to it. The townsfolk told me you were last seen there. I went there and you were saying, "Argh! Argh!" And then, okay. Hey, listen, if you're impressed, I'll take it. I guess I have a rumor to tell you about. Have you heard?
You tell Igor the townspeople were worried while he was gone.
People miss Igor? You tell Igor a rumor? Igor now morgue happy than ever. Morgue happy, get it?
I get it.
Little graveyard humor there.
Yeah. You know who? If you've met my friend Punny Bones would like that. He'd be jealous because he could never come up with it on his own due to a curse. You know, you might like a friend of mine from back old Shapiro way. The land where I'm a prince. We got lots to talk about. So, Igor, I don't actually need it, but...
Igor not give crypt key to strangers. You not stranger. Igor give crypt key to you.
And there's our natural path into the Borgoff family crypt. How are you doing, by the way? You seem less disturbed than I would probably be after being buried alive.
Oh, reports of Igor's demise greatly exaggerated.
Oh, they were very greatly exaggerated. There were, because they were detailed reports involving you being torn apart by werewolves. How the hell did you bury yourself alive in the first place? Hello, Obscurity. Welcome.
Grave accident? Little graveyard humor there. That good one. I like
Thank you for following. That's a failed animation. It's supposed to look like this.
Grave. Gravestone fall on grave. Igor not get out until you get him out of grave. Igor in grave danger. A little graveyard humor there.
Good stuff, buddy. Have you ever touched Erana's staff and heard a freaky voice in your head saying scary
Staff been
things?
in town long time. Dimitri's grandfather brought staff to town.
Oh, yeah. See if I can talk to Dimitri about that now. I heard that you're friends with this Dr. Cranium. Do you have any tips or tricks for solving his stupid puzzles?
People say Dr. Mad. Dr. not mad. Dr. just crazy.
Blech. Well, I'm glad you did. I am planning at some point in the fuzzy, but not that far off future, I hope, to start doing a playthrough of the King's Quest series, of which I have previously played but not beaten King's Quest 1 as a kid, played and not beaten King's Quest 5 as a kid, and played and beaten King's Quest 6 as a kid with my buddy. So there's a lot of this coming. Although fairly soon, I'm gonna be pausing before Quest for Glory 5 to go back to Britannia and play Ultimate Underworld 2. Although I also am about to start Vacation, and I gotta figure out what else I'm gonna add here. Could that be an opportunity to get going with King's Quest? I don't know. I'm sorry. Did I ask you about Dr. Cranium, Igor?
People say
Yes,
Dr.
I did.
Mad. Dr. not mad. Dr. just crazy.
They call me a madman, Barton, but I'm not mad at anyone.
Oh, people not like gypsies. People think gypsies steal things. People think gypsies eat people. People think gypsies not normal like Igor.
A comma there would have really clarified what you were saying, Igor. Are they not normal like Igor? So, think that they are not normal like Igor is. Or are they not normal like Igor? Because, I mean, you know what? I'll say this, Igor. The townspeople definitely don't think that you're a werewolf. Thank you for the crypt key. I do appreciate that. I mean, a Dr. Cranium key would have been just the thing, but I bet I get that from that stupid ball maze.
You say goodbye to Igor.
You take care of yourself, buddy.
Igor nods cryptically. A little graveyard humor there.
Well played, sir. That was a great line reading by Mr. John Rhys Davies, and of course, we should say credit to Lorianne Cole, because that was funny. It was predictable, but it was funny. Do I have enough stamina for a workout right now? I already kind of, I'm like, I'm not looking past it because I'm really enjoying the experience, but I am already thinking about that my next playthrough of the whole series is a Thief someday. Alright. Let's do my whatever this pulley thing is, get stronger.
This is a little too easy now.
Ah.
You need to add more weight.
Oh yeah, he dove in. He savored
Pick up
this.
2 of the metal weights and put 1 in each of the baskets.
Getting stronger. That's good.
Your legs are too stiff and sore to use this right now.
Hey. Improvement across the board. I'm more honorable. What did I do that was honorable? I mean, surely whatever I do is honorable. I'm a paladin. No, that's a warped view of ethics. Ah, yes, because it gave me no honor just for saving him, but checking in on him to make sure he's okay. That is... There's honor in that. Ah, thanks, British. Alright, here's poor Nikolai. Looking sad. Does this crack in the
You
wall
don't
mean
notice
anything?
anything special there?
Well, I kind of do. See a big crack in the wall.
That didn't...
Okay, fine. I'm gonna go back through my items and just think, could any of this stuff be crammed in the bottom of a hole? I don't think so. Garlic, flint, of course. Okay. You know what? I might as well. One, two, three, four, five. Ding, 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 ding. It went back to the green, didn't it? That one desynced, which is frustrating. Oh, Simon Says, baby. Alright. It's very pretty. Can I do this puzzle now?
This is
Yes, I
the
can.
Antwerp maze. Antwerps are naturally bouncy, so all you have to do is continually rotate the maze until the baby Antwerp bounces over to the key, then out through the exit.
Alright. Review for my own belief that this does not seem possible right now. Wait. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Okay.
You're not yet carrying anything that would be useful here.
Okay. That's I should remember that so that I'm not constantly going back here when I haven't gathered something that might be useful. But very nice of the game, actually, to say, hey, you know, look up anything new, Nikolai?
You greet the old man.
We have met...
Yeah. Probably nothing new with Nikolai, but I'll check. No. Okay.
You say goodbye.
If you see Anna, tell her I am looking for her.
I will. But I gotta say, Nikolai, I got a feeling deep inside me that tells me that it's going to be really, really sad when your plotline comes to fruition. I just can't imagine that we find out that Anna's fine and then we reunite her with Nikolai. Nana Olga!
I suppose you heard that the gypsy didn't kill Igor after all. Dmitri has set the gypsy free. No good will come of it. You mark my words. The man was clearly a werewolf.
Nana Olga. So much more racist than you need to be.
So, you haven't been eaten yet.
Yeah, I'm doing good and not getting eaten. As we've discussed. Anything interesting to you about
Tell
my
Olga
adventures?
about what you've been doing in Mordavia.
Okay. Nothing big there. Anything new I can ask her about? Probably not.
What would you like to know about?
Well, many things. These are some new things, are they?
Dr. Cranium is a very strange man. No one knows what goes on in the back room of his house, except maybe Igor, and he won't talk about it. Someday,
Well,
the mad doctor will blow us all up in one of those experiments of his. You mark my words.
I always wonder about the hearing of the people who drive down the street playing their music so loud that up here It's getting on the stream and possibly getting me copyright struck on YouTube. Okay. My money's on...
You see, there used to be a very active adventurers guild here in town.
That we,
But it's been empty and locked up since I can remember.
Oh, it's not locked anymore. But my money is on Dr. Cranium being wacky rather than terrifying. More akin to Dr. Demento than Dr. Frankenstein, for instance.
Dimitri. He is responsible for keeping order in the town, and he is very serious. But there was some scandal about his grandmother, but it was hushed up.
Well, now I've learned something about Dimitri's grandmother and grandfather. I don't know that he's going to want to talk about any of it.
Well, the gypsy may not have eaten the gravedigger, but that still doesn't explain why he was hanging around town. We'll all be eaten by that werewolf yet.
I mean, I can imagine explanations. Nana. Alright, Nana Olga. This is one of those... I'm lucky. I don't think any of my older relatives... I'm not going to say they're all, perfectly free of...
You take care.
Of any prejudice or ignorance about different cultures or different people.
Come back again, sunshine or rain.
But I don't think anyone in my family, among my older relatives, is ever going to just uncork a bunch of unfiltered racism on me in casual conversation and make me oh man, do I gotta lecture my aunt here?
What are you looking for this time?
Dimitri, could I just ask some invasive personal questions about your grandparents? Hello, by the way.
What do you want to know today?
Well, I heard that your grandmother was caught up in scandal. Nope. Well,
I'm getting some much needed relaxation now. I don't have to worry about that annoying stranger getting into trouble.
Oh yeah,
You
annoying
prove
strangers.
quite capable of taking care of yourself.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it, buddy. You're saying that I'm the annoying stranger, right? Is that what you're saying, Dimitri? You're needling me? Pal? Buddy? You think I'm annoying?
Things are settling back to normal now. Hopefully nothing else exciting will happen for a while.
Dimitri, the very fact that you said that makes me think that something will happen tomorrow.
Well, let's see. What haven't I told you about before? There's the gypsy camp to the far east, and the old Hangman tree to the southeast. The gnome said something about Baba Yaga being there, but I don't know about that.
No, she is. It's true. It's kind of frustrating. She set her fire-breathing skulls up, not only to guard the walkway to her home, but also stopping me from getting the Hangman's tree, which is a whole thing because... I don't want to bore you with this. Suffice it to say, there's a ritual,
Farewell.
Dimitri. There are 6 rituals. The first ritual. Let me just consult my notes here, Dimitri. Oh, fuck's sake, this stranger. I can tell I'm growing on him. He tries to act all, annoying stranger. But I bet he thinks I'm okay. I mean, I stopped his townsfolk from becoming a lynch mob. Middle of the day. Ah, man. Well. Am I allowed to nap in the streets?
After some rest, you feel better.
Took a little nap. Good, I guess. But okay. Well, I mean, we got the rest of a day to kill. So, I'll bring back the roaming the forest save for the moment. Where am I going to roam, though? I don't think I have any gaps left. Okay, here's an idea. If we can get there with daylight. Just to remind myself what the hell it is. I'm going to go here south, south, south once, and I'll go south again here. Done. And then I will go east. And if I just go straight south, I marked a screen as having bush with eyes. Is that related to the other bush guy? The type of creature of which he is being lost to my mind at the moment? I don't know.
There's something strange
yes.
about this bush.
Oh, right.
Maybe it's the eyes? Oh, forget it. It's probably just an ordinary, everyday bush with blood-red berries and tentacle-like branches.
Probably. But okay. I didn't get anywhere with this thing the first time I met it. Is it magical?
You sense no magic in this area.
No, this is a perfectly ordinary camouflaged evil bush. I shouldn't say evil, like I know that this thing's evil. Can I rip its eyes off with the fetch spell? Probably
You
not.
try to fetch some berries from the bush, but they seem firmly attached to branches.
Indeed, indeed. Well, throwing down an autosave for the poor souls who get themselves eaten by the thing bush. Can I set it on fire?
Doesn't seem to have...
No. Well, it probably doesn't like that.
No one seems to be listening.
Okay.
You'll have to get a little closer. The bush seems to be hard of hearing.
Believe I've already done this death, but oh, what the heck.
That hurt. That really hurt. Think of being stung by a 10-foot-long wasp.
I'm not going to think about that.
That would be a relief in comparison.
Okay. Now that I'm next to the thing, can I just hit it with a sword?
Nothing happened. That hurt. That... You think that would...
Okay, it's about to kill me. A berry bush. Okay. Well, now it occurs to me, of course, that I just learned a spell for
Cast
physical
the
protection.
spell. It gives you a warm, safe feeling.
Feels good. Does the thing still just kill me?
That hurt.
Yes, it does.
That... You think that... That hurt. You think...
But now it's standing up.
There's something...
No, nothing new. Can I force bolt this bush?
You've managed to knock a branch with some berries loose from the bush.
Oh. Well. Go over there for them, but I'll take them.
You retrieve the berries from the loose branch and store them carefully in a pocket of your pack.
Great. They sound like important berries. But I don't know why. Yeah, those are like definitely like berries that you have to physically knock off of a bush monster and then retrieve without being stung by its 10-foot tentacles. You can fetch a good price for those at the farmer's market. Oh, I'm being telephoned by Danielle. Excuse me a moment. I'll be right back, gang. Hang tight. Okay, back at it with not that much time left for today. However, we have a little bit of time, but we're entering into, among other things, yes, it is that time soon,
Your protection spell has worn off.
the phase of the stream where a cat is going to be just either guilt trip staring at me or actively bothering me, because it is around that time. And normally I would just take an intermission, except that I also do have to wrap up fairly soon because Daniel's going to get home. I got to help her with groceries. Then we're going to make supper. We got plans tonight. So, yeah. But for now, I am curious what happens if I just eat these berries. Probably my death.
They're very poisonous, you know. You better save them for someone who can appreciate their finer points.
Okay. That sounds like it could be a case of... Yeah, normally, Spade, my intermissions are covered thanks to... Alright, this is a high stakes bunny fight because I'm almost dead. Woo. Yes, normally I'm covered just because there's music in the game, but there wasn't any music on that screen. Or other sound at all, because I went to the menu screen. I could have at least had the ambient sound. I should there's definitely among my my young friend Aaron Hodges-Boyle's music. By the way, if you ever catch the starting soon screens on this, I should do this plug now and then. If you ever catch the starting soon screens and think, hey, that's a good tune, well, there's a link to Aaron's Bandcamp in my About section, because he did any of the music I'm playing here, and it's got a lot of cool music. So if you like any of what you ever hear, probably like some of his other stuff. But I know he's got some stuff that would be really good intermission music, because it's like kind of like, you know, like lounge. Okay, a thing. We didn't even get to the next day before something exciting happened.
I just wanted to thank you for saving me. Not many people would try to help a gypsy. Particularly when everyone thinks that they are werewolves.
Well, let me walk you through.
Gypsies are not werewolves. You cannot believe the lies of the townsfolk. Visit our camp to the east sometime, and we will welcome you as only the gypsies can. Gypsies are not werewolves, but we are shape-changers. I hope to see you again sometime. Farewell!
Do you ever all turn into wolves? Yeah. Oh, that's quite a chin. That guy, you know, I can't remember any of the lyrics to make a reference here. But he's Gaston, right? But, oh man. Yeah, to be honest, yeah. I gotta say, and I'm not saying that it's obviously not okay for the people to be racist against the travelers, but I can see where the werewolf misconception got started, right? Also, obviously, in the event log progress of the game, it actually, like, a bit of time needs to pass before the next flag trips after you save Igor. But read literally, I had already done the thing that helped the traveler before I went to the traveler camp, and in wolf form they devoured me. It's a little fucked up. Okay, but well, sweet. This is great because wrapping up, but now we've been guaranteed that stuff will be happening pretty early on when we get going next time. So that's exciting. I guess the last thing I'll do here is Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can hear Astra in the background, but she is really, she's hitting exactly what she's going for. In terms of sounding miserable and making me feel guilty. Hey.
So you are back.
I am. You know anyone who wants weird poison berries? I'm hoping that there's not a part of this game where I'm gonna... Well, unless they're super evil. But generally, like, it doesn't seem super heroic to poison anybody. But perhaps also, it might be maybe there's another Baba Yaga fetch quest, like with the Mandrake root from the first game. It's one thought that occurs. Do you know that your daughter has been vampirized and is living in the castle?
The castle was once that of the Boyar. Now we do not know who lives there.
Well, I can tell you one no, okay, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I know little of the forest.
Okay. You don't gossip.
Besides the ones that come in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're really getting nowhere, sir. So, take care.
The innkeeper nods at you.
And I nod back at him. And then... Ho ho ho! Well, I do know, what was his name? Was his name Toby? I know the horrible monster. Or the friendly monster who's living there. Then again, he doesn't want to hear about that. Their whole distrust of Toby. No, wait. I'm mixing up the story. No, they did find out about... The parents found out about Toby and were like, we don't want you hanging out with this monster. Okay. Can I catnap for 60 minutes? Oh, even that I'm going to do in bed. Alright.
After some rest, you feel better.
But mostly I just want to make it become nighttime. So I can sleep till morning.
After some rest, you feel better.
There we go. No, not yet. Fine. Oh, you know what? I should see if the fellas are in the inn. Great. I'll go...
So, Dimitri says the gypsy didn't really kill Igor after all.
It's
There's that one about the Easter bunny.
Wait, you didn't hear? Oh, that foolish gravedigger fell into a grave, and he was trapped by his own gravestone. He's dumber than a styrofoam cup.
Right. It's just lucky for Igor the stranger happened to wander by before he starved to death.
You are all...
It had nothing to do with water.
The stranger rescued Igor. You would have burned an innocent man.
Well, I still think the gypsy's a werewolf.
He's not. Listen. This whole thing of this racist misconception that gypsies, travelers, Roma are werewolves, you gotta let that go. They are shapeshifters who turn into wolves. On their own schedule. Unconnected to the full moon. And they don't eat people. They will maul people to death. Viciously. So, hey fellas, it's me.
That the gravedigger returned to town unharmed?
Yes.
Did you know that the gypsy has been released?
Yes.
Were you aware of the fact that rumor has it that you saved both Igor and the gypsy?
I had heard that rumor. Yes. So anyway, yeah, it was pretty cool how I did it, you
So
see.
you found Igor in the grave? Whew. Lucky for old Ig you came along.
Otherwise, poor little Iggy would be dead.
Yeah.
Well, at least he had
And you would be
decent
murderers.
burial.
Heh. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's actually a nice thing for them to say about Igor. He had a nice burial because he was buried by Igor, one of the best. One of the best to ever do it. One of the best to inter the dead of Mordavia. Fellas. Any new conversations we can have?
Well, Gypsy returned to his people, I suppose.
Yeah?
Yeah, that gypsy camp is somewhere to the east of town, by
It
the
is.
shopping mall.
Heh.
I still think the punk was a werewolf.
He's not. He controls
Did you
his
ever
wolf,
see him
his
turn
lycanthropic
into a
transformations.
Well, no.
Did he have hairy hands and pointy ears like Leonard Nimoy?
Well, no.
You see, it's all your fault, blathering on about those
Here we go.
stupid foolish
Thank you.
folk
I'm
tales.
glad you gentlemen are
Could
acknowledging
harm
this
an
part of the
innocent man.
story.
Yeah, I knew all along. There's no such thing as werewolves.
I will say so. I did see that fella transform into a wolf. Yeah.
Well, Gravedigger returned to town safely, and he can get back to his job overcharging us for those
Between this and Ultima 7, you'd almost get the sense that American video game developers of the late 80s and early 90s
Gravedigger
were nerds
was
or
at
something.
work all the time, so to speak.
Yeah. Any thoughts about the other townspeople? Think they all would have joined your
Well, things ought to settle back to abnormal now.
lynch mob?
What with our little buddy Igor returning and all.
We can go back to being open and friendly.
And as always, suspicious of strangers.
Yes, sir. But I'm the stranger, right? Ooh, that's a tantalizing breadcrumb, Cedric. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's not King's Quest V.
Everyone's too busy drinking to notice you.
They must have noticed me at least a little. We just spoke at length about me and my deeds. Ah, okay, whatever.
You unlock the door to your room and go in.
Now, I bet I can sleep.
You awaken as the sun
Like,
begins to
on the one hand, like, obviously they learned their lesson pretty quick about that choice with King's Quest V. But on the other hand, when you think about Sierra's, like, reputation for, the value they put in having great production values, it's kind of shocking that the first time they could do audio, it didn't cross their mind to be like, or the first time they could do voice acting, it didn't cross their mind to be like, what if it was good? Like, they had to actually find out what it was like when it sucked.
pay the innkeeper for your room and board.
Thank you for your payment.
How am I doing for money? Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was gonna say, because, like, I'm killing far fewer humans. Or other humanoids. Which, for the most part, is good. It's what I prefer as a hero. But it gives me fewer opportunities to steal. Alright, take care.
You get a farewell wave in response.
I gotta wave. Alright. Oh, cool.
You do not need to go looking for trouble. It will always find you. Please, take care.
Dimitri, did you just ask me to take care?
Good to see you.
I knew I recognized the name, and I should have said something like, I know I recognize the name. I was waiting till a lull moment, but okay. Those are notable roles. To someone of my age, especially. Just yesterday! Did you say, I think I'm going to be experiencing some of your work tomorrow, unless James gets all twisted around like he did in Quest for Glory 3, Wages of War. We have lots to talk about. And so, I think I'm gonna leave off here. We'll hit the ground running by talking to our buddy Dimitri who likes us. We're winning over the townsfolk by solving all their problems. That's what I do. And then we'll go to the Roma camp and not be devoured or at least torn asunder by the Roma. And that's a real good place to be in. Not only because it's great to not be torn asunder, but also it's great to start a play session knowing that some stuff is immediately going to happen and the ball will be rolling. So, awesome. 3 sessions in to Quest for Glory Shadows of Darkness, and I'm delighted so far. It's just been great, and I can only imagine that it will continue to be so. Hopefully we don't hit one of these famously rumored game-breaking bugs. I assume that, maybe I shouldn't make this assumption, but I assume that this is like a patched version that at least doesn't have all the ones from the original release. But yeah, wicked. Okay, so this week, Tuesday, assuming all goes well, there's no emergencies at work, he doesn't get sick or anything, Greg's going to come over, and we are picking up. We do a show, for anyone who doesn't know, called Greg and James Beat 'em Up, where we're playing all the early beat 'em ups. Maybe not all of them, but lots of them. Kind of get a sense of, for one thing, we just like beat 'em ups. And for another thing, it's like, is there anything to learn about this genre? I don't know that there is, but we're having fun. And we're going to do Golden Axe next. So I'm the Golden Axe trilogy. I don't know. At least in the Genesis ports, which I'm more familiar with, although I know I've played Golden Axe in an arcade when I was a kid. The Genesis ports are a little underwhelming, at least especially the first one, because the gameplay doesn't have much depth to it, and you can tell that a lot of the appeal was supposed to be spectacle. But when you're on an arcade with a fairly large screen and booming speakers, you don't necessarily get the spectacle. I don't know. I'm interested to see what that's all about. So we're diving into that. If we do have to actually, now that I think about it, we got to check out Battletoads and Double Dragon for the Super Nintendo. And if that's actually much different from the NES version, which I don't think it is, but if it turns out to be, then we got to dig in and play it a bunch. Otherwise, we're going to dip into that and then dive into Golden Axe on Tuesday. I've been saying this a lot, and it's only happened twice, but I would like to do an impromptu afternoon Lolo stream one day this week. It's my last week of work before vacation, which should mean things are winding down, and maybe I can actually easily fit that in. Could also mean that I'm running around trying to make sure all my loose ends are tied off before I take vacation. We'll see. Come Friday, assuming that Rich's daughter is not born, interrupting us, and that Greg has no emergencies, because it was actually Greg's fault we had to cancel at the last minute on Friday. Playing Frosthaven, Friday Night Frosthaven, picking up with what is the scenario we're in? Quattro Library. And we're in a pretty good position, although I'm in a real touch-and-go position where if I'm hit by anybody, I'm dead. So I have 1 hit point, no cards to burn, and I need to rest. And I really want to take a long rest if I can. I think I want to roll the dice. Not that there are dice in Gloomhaven, but I'm going to take a chance, see if I can last the round. And then it's the weekend again. On Saturday, Pool of Radiance, and if I were to try to make a forecast, I'd say we have 2 sessions left. Because there are 2 commissions in the Hinterlands left. And the general way the clerk has worked is she always gives you 3 commissions, so as you clear them out, new ones fill in. But now she's down to just give me 2. So I think when I get those done, there's nothing left to do but go beat Ataraxia. And I think it'll be get the commissions done one day, and then the next week beat the game. Maybe it'll go even faster than that. Maybe it'll go slower. But that's what I think is going to happen. 2 more weeks of that. And then we'll be back on Sunday. Quest for Glory, Shadows of Darkness. And another fun thing about next weekend is, hopefully by next weekend, I'll have made up my mind about some of my vacation streaming plans. And maybe I can make some announcements. Cool. So lots going on here. So whether you're a new follower or an established follower, or you're watching and lurking but you haven't followed, maybe you should follow, because it sounds like there's a lot going on in the coming weeks. We're going to have fun together playing video games. And on Fridays, a board game. So hey, if you stuck around to the end, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you came and you left, can't hear my voice, but I'm glad you stopped by anyway. So thanks for stopping by. And until the next time, And we're all right there in the town square again. Take care of yourselves, and be kind to everyone you meet.